Hey guys, this is Chris Reedus. I'm recording drums today at Sound Machine Studios in Corpus Christi, Texas, and the engineer was super cool and agreed to let me take a few minutes at the end of our session to record this video. So I see it asked quite a bit on online forums and in the Worship Drummers Facebook group that I help run. People that are interested in Heartbeat cymbals, they'll want to know, should I get the 24 Jazz ride or the 24 Epic ride? And both are amazing sounding cymbals. There's a lot of similarities, but then there's a lot of fairly distinctive differences between them. So I wanted to make a video that kind of got to highlight a lot of those differences and hopefully help you decide if you're looking at these. Okay, the Epic ride belongs to my church. It's on our house kit, and I've used it several times. I borrowed it for sessions over the last 3 years, and to me, this is just like classic modern cymbal tone. If you're after the dark, thin, washy ride kind of tone like has been popular in a lot of genres of modern music over the last decade or so, this is just a great ride for that. I hear a lot of similarities with the Joey Waronker signature ride from Mr. Mulligat. This one, there's just a lot in common, I think, with the way this behaves and the type of tone it is. I think it hangs in the really big mixes, like rock, country, worship kind of things I've used it for. But as you could hear on the video, that nice dark wash still comes out even on really soft hits, and so this cymbal really presents itself well for low volume kind of stuff too. So it's a great, I know a lot of people are using this like in smaller churches where you have to keep volume down. It's a great ride for that too. The Jazz ride, in contrast, is I hear the attack is a lot more low pitched and thicker and grittier than the Epic. Really in every way. This is just a lower pitched cymbal. The wash is lower pitched. One of the big differences is the Jazz has a lot of complexity in the wash. So when you hit it, there's all this swirling, shimmery vibe happening. Whereas the Epic, there's definitely some shimmer, but I think it's more in the high end. The low wash just tends to sit a little bit more and just fill things out, whereas the Jazz, even one hit, you just hit the cymbal one time and there's a ton of movement and just stuff going on in it, which personally I just love. The Jazz feels a little drier to me when you hit it. That wash opens up and then it backs out of the way quicker than the Epic does. I think the Epic wash like sits there and takes a while to duck out. So the Jazz backs out sooner. The Jazz, I think, performs even better at really low volume stuff. I use this for big stuff like I was playing here, but then I will turn around the next day and play it on a jazz gig in a tiny cafe where there's a table sitting 2 feet from me, and I've got to play fast ride patterns without blowing them away or overwhelming the room. And I just can't even believe how well this ride does, even being 24 inches. It's it's so versatile. I would say, if you're trying to think through which of these would be the better fit for you, I'd say if you're like me and you play a really wide range of music, a really wide range of volume dynamics, then I think the Jazz ride may give you a little bit more to work with. The Epic, I can't play on super low volume stuff. It feels just a little bit too bright for that. It'll work, but it doesn't quite have the same flexibility. I can't lay into it as much as I can the Jazz ride before it feels too loud. If that makes sense. But if you're a guy who plays mostly high volume stuff, if you're in a church where there's a full drum enclosure and you can get away with slamming, you know, the Epic may do better for you. Although in some senses the Epic can tend to wash out and lose some of its stick definition. I think because of those high shimmery overtones that when you really crash it, I think that can sonically kind of get mixed up with the actual stick definition attack. So it can tend to lose that, whereas I think the Jazz will hold its stick definition a little bit clearer in that kind of playing. Like if you're not crashing it, if you're actually riding it on top of the cymbal, but at a super high volume, I think the Jazz ride will hold stick definition more than the Epic. But really, I'd say it just comes down to, do you want a little bit safer, purer tone, or do you want the really rich, complex tone? Okay, so if you're curious about the gear I used in this video, the snare is the Ludwig 14x8 Copperphonic. It's got an Emperor on batter, and the kick drum is a Slingerland Radio King 26x14 from the 1940s, repainted by vintage drum guy Adam Cozy. And then the floor tom is a 60s Ludwig 16x16 super classic floor tom. Anyway, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any further questions, you can let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to reply. Okay, thanks guys.